going on, YouTubers? This is Zen from Zen World, and I hope you're having a great day. So we are back with Mashle, and we are doing a review on chapters 3 and also chapters 4. I missed out on last week's chapter, so I wasn't able to just get it and deep dive and do a review. So we're having a combo review today. So last time we left out on Mashle, um, Mosh, he, him and Lemon just, made their way through the maze, right? For Mash, he just kind of like punched his way all the way through. So as it starts on chapter 3, he's basically, everyone is in awe, right? And for good reason, but they're also detesting him as a person, right? They're like, how did this person even get into this school, right? And they're basically telling him to go home. Everyone's like, go home. And, Mosh with his stoic face is just basically like, mm, I don't think so, basically. Because in his head, he's basically saying, like, how could you, what's a maze if I could punch through it, right? And it kind of makes sense, right? And then we see Lemon, and Lemon is basically spilling the beans about what happened, all right, with the Luche, and she says that he put her, the headmaster put her up to it, and uh, and for this reason, and then she's very sorry, she's apologetic, and then she's saying like, if it wasn't for Mosh, I wouldn't. Be able to get through this, and he's like, he said he would marry me, and then Mosh is like, I've never said that, right? It's really funny. But then we get to the meat of chapter 3, which is um, the Luche is kind of dismissed from his role, and then we get the headmaster. I forgot his name, but the headmaster is the grand headmaster, right? He's the one who was introduced into chapter 2, and he's bald, so he kind of looks like the head wizard, right? So they're going through the process of a final interview. In the final interview he has with Mash, he asks him a set of questions, right? And the questions are really about integrity and just the reasoning behind why he chose to do certain things, right? And then the final test that he has is what would you do in this scenario? But it's a real life scenario. So the master, the headmaster basically summons this kind of beast, and also an element of a pinned doll, right? So Mosh has to make a choice. What would you do in this situation? So Mosh kind of like takes the brunt of the force and holds it, so he has like a nailed piece of because he's saving the doll, right? He's saving the doll from the element of being pinned, right? And the soul that's taken away, right? So in the sense that the head master and the head wizard are able to see Mosh in his highest form of integrity, right? That he thinks before he acts, right? But in this sense, he's thinking for others before he acts, or he's thinking for others and then acting upon it, right? So it's really cool. So then we transition. Basically, he passes the test, but we also get a cool scene or panel where where Mosh is basically saying to that headmaster, he said, if it was me versus you, I would knock you out. And then the headmaster's like, I'm way more powerful than you. But they leave that, right? And then we transition to chapter 4. Chapter 4 is it's really funny because you get it. It's it's really a parody of off of kind of like Harry Potter, right? And a couple of things. They're in school, they're doing the spells and things like that. And Mosh is able to overcome all of these with brute force and muscle, right? Which is his character essentially. But people are asking the question, like, how did he even get in here, right? So then we come to a phenomenal kind of scene. I thought it was really funny, but just amazing in the sense where they're learning how to ride a broomstick, right? To fly. And Mosh, they say like fly, 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 right? To make the broom come up, right? Mosh can't do it, right? So he kind of like stomps his feet while the broom is coming up, and then he says fly, and everyone's like, that's not how you do it. That's not making it, already was up in the air before you even said fly, right? And then Mosh, he's just like, okay. Basically. So um the next scene that we get is actually some of the school bullies, right? Because I didn't get to say this earlier, but Mosh got into the school, right? into the Eastern Academy. So he's part of the Eastern Magical School Academy, right? He passed the test, the previous test from before. So he sees this bully, for lack of better words, right? I forgot his name. I'm not too sure if he's going to be a mainstay character or a rival or even a teammate later on. But he basically says, like, let's have a race, right? And Masha's like, sure, whatever. He said, if I win, you have to do X, Y, and Z. So, but it's a, remember, Mash can't ride or do any kind of magic. So the question is, how is he going to make this work, right? How is he going to win a race um, on a broomstick when he can't even ride the broomstick? So they get ready to start. The professor that's there, she's like, on your mark, get set, go. So Mosh wins the race. So everyone is like, what? How did this happen? So his roommate basically says that Mosh threw he threw the broom as fast and as hard as possible and then jumped on top of it, thus causing him to get a world record for that type of race, right? It's really cool. So as we're coming to the end of the chapter itself for chapter 4, the same person that he beat, he's part of this kind of crew, right? They don't say a crew, but he has a crew of people, and that kind of like head person says to him like, how could you lose to basically this buffoon who can't even do any magic, right? You're making us look bad. So then he goes up to Mosh and he's like, I want to, he's kind of given the persona that he's a nice guy, but as you already know that he's not a nice guy. It's just kind of a facade to play it cool while he's in front of the school. So he's like, yeah, you're a funny guy. I want to see you after school, right? And basically, this is kind of given the inclination that they basically want to do something to Mosh after school. So as as the panel continues, we see Mosh like he's in the bakery making, or he's in the kitchen making some pastries and things of that nature. So then we we take a look at the gang of wizards, right? Whatever they are, I don't know. And they're basically waiting for Mosh, but Mosh is in the kitchen. He's like, I thought I forgot something, right? And the reason why this is funny is because usually when you watch movies or any kind of like teen movies and things like that, and the bully kind of says like, meet me after school, there's usually a big crowd and the person actually comes. But when Mosh doesn't come, he doesn't really care, right? And he forgets because he's at home making the pastry. So then we see the face of those magical bullies, right? And the chapter ends, right? So that's the review for chapters 3 and 4. Marshall's a really good quick read. Again, easy for anyone to get into. There are some quick laughs here that will make people laugh, or maybe won't make you laugh. It just depends on you as a person, right? But I encourage anyone to read who just wants to get into something that's funny, that's cool, and makes you wonder how is it going to progress in the future, right? So with that being said, I would give both chapters 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Um, so this is Zen from Zen World saying peace, love, and prosperity. Be magical, everyone. Take care.